chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Berea, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops, then find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us. We Rick flaring on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Rick flaring on him, Rick flaring on him, Rick flaring on him, Rick flaring, sun up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack, Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Tried to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the swag, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts, my advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeant is with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he off of the leash. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even PrimeTime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty, man, back with another one, man. I hope you guys are doing well. Listen, just got off the that Dion train, and now we're gonna jump on this Suns train. All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe as always. Do your thing. Do what you do, but watch my shoes. Listen, okay. Where do I start with this? Because I want to make it very clear for anybody who I'm far from a Cleveland Browns fan. Far from it, okay? Die-hard Dallas Cowboy right here. How about them boys? That's all that matters to me, okay? How about them boys? Now, but I want to talk about the Shedeur thing because it's really been, surprisingly, it's really been bothering me. Okay, it's really been bothering me. Just saying, it's really been bothering me. But I will say this before I get started. I want to let people know where I stood at before, because again, there's some new people here, people from Cleveland, people from CU, whatever. I want to make sure everybody understood where I stood before the draft. You find players, you got your players that you find or whatever that you do what you do, right? So this is why I say Shedeur is not a top 10 quarterback, especially not top 5. There is, to me, this is my personal opinion, there is no elite like trait that he just does except all about, right? You find players, you got your players that you find or whatever that you do what you do, right? So this is why I say Shedeur is not a top 10 quarterback, especially not top 5. There is, to me, this is my personal opinion, there is no elite like trait that he just does exceptionally well. Well, and then I go on to say that I love his accuracy, I love his work ethic, and I love how Shedeur processes the game of football, right? So, but I want to be very clear. I never thought Shedeur was a first round pick, like talent wise, right? But again, it's a day where it's a day where it's like supply and demand. If there's enough quarterbacks needed, right? If there's enough quarterbacks needed, then you do your thing, right? Like you go get them. If you need a quarterback, you go get them. Now, I said this in the same show. I said I wouldn't have had a problem if the Cowboys would have drafted him, or if anybody would have drafted him 25 to 32, because you're like, hey, listen, I can get the 5th round option. I mean, I can get the 5th year option on him, see how it pans out, works out. He's going to go to a very good team that has talent, right? And can go and do some things there, because I believe Shedeur is at this point in his career, he is not an elevator of talent. He's a facilitator. You give him good talent around him, Shedeur can make all the right reads and play. Now, I want to get to today's show because I want to make sure people understood where I was to where I am now, right? Because I don't want people to be like, oh, Scotty's always been on the train. I haven't. I have always kind of known and seen what Shedeur was. Not anything in the sense of like, oh, he's the next Cam Newton, or he's the next, Patrick Mahomes, or he's the next CJ Stroud, or he's the next Bryce Young. Like, no, right? I feel like Shedeur is a quality player, quality backup, quality starter, right? He's a quality quarterback. So for me, when I see when I hear the stuff that's going around, I'm like, damn, like, did people miss that bad? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because for me, I thought he was a 2nd, 3rd round pick, right? But when I'm hearing stuff like this, and I'm like,
and Sanders will get a lot of reps. Gabriel and Sanders will get a lot of reps this week.
Will Shedeur get reps against the ones finally? And Tony, why is this not happening? What are they trying to shelter him? What are they trying to do?
I don't think they're
what
protecting him. I don't think they're trying to steer anything. I think they feel Gabriel's better. Gabriel's closer to Pickett than he is to Shedeur Sanders. That's my observation.
Now, I want to be very clear about what he is saying. I don't think that's a compliment. If somebody told me I'm closer to Kenny Pickett, to me, that is not a compliment. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my mindset. But if you line me up in a room full of quarterbacks and you telling me that I'm closer to Kenny Pickett, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Like, I don't think that's a real compliment. If I'm just being if I'm being 100% pure, honest, unfiltered, that is not a compliment. It really isn't. And I said this, right? And I said this. When the draft was coming out, I think people, I want to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it as honest as I can be. I'm not down on Dylan Gabriel. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel is a scrub, right? If I'm being honest, I think they both should have went in the same round. I think Shedeur should have went in the 3rd round, as well as Dylan Gabriel should have went in the 3rd round. I think their qualities fit each other separately, right? Like, I think where Dylan Gabriel is weak at, Shedeur is strong. Where Shedeur is weak at, Dylan's strong. That's life. That's how things happen. You're really good at one receiver is really speedy, the other guy's a great route runner, right? Doesn't make them any less better or whoever if they can make it all work together. It just happens that there's only one position at quarterback, right? But the way that they've been talking about Shedeur, it would make me believe that he was like some FCS quarterback that had never done anything at a Power 4 or Power 5 level, and he's like strictly developmental. I'm not saying, again, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that. But for God's sakes, listen, to me, I think Shedeur is Dak Prescott, and I'm going to keep saying that. I think Shedeur Sanders could have the same career as Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott is making $60 million. I don't think that's a bad comparison other than Kenny Pickett, who is living as a lifetime backup. I think Shedeur Sanders' career path is it could be the same track as a Dak Prescott with a little higher ceiling or a lower ceiling. Even if you swap Dak out with Geno Smith, that's not such a bad comp. It's not all world, but it damn sure ain't all bad. Right? So, again, I don't think his ceiling is higher than Dak Prescott. But anyway, my thing is this, and the reason I keep bringing up Dak Prescott as a pathway to being a starting quarterback in the NFL, the first three, if you're not a Cowboys fan, right? If you're not a Cowboys fan, you don't understand what Dak Prescott was the first 3 years in Dallas, especially the first 4 years, right? At the end of the day, Dak Prescott was his path was a backup. Let's just keep it buck. Tony Romo was a starter. Tony Romo gets hurt in preseason with the back. Dak Prescott comes in. But you got to understand the team that was around Dak Prescott when he went in. He wasn't walking into a situation where it was bone dry. He had Dez Bryant that just came off a crazy season. He had Ezekiel Elliott as a rookie. The reason they drafted Ezekiel Elliott was for Tony Romo, so he wouldn't keep taking the shots that he was taking. He still had Jason Witten. He still had Terrence. He still had Cole Beasley. He had a lot of, and we had one of the best offensive lines. Had a young Tyron Smith. Had a young Travis Frederick. Had a young Zach Martin. You're talking about 3 Hall of Famers on the offensive line. All Dak Prescott had to do was walk in and not crash the car. So again, when I'm telling you that Shedeur Sanders is a Dak Prescott, I'm telling you is if he gets on the right team and he has the right talent around him, he just doesn't have to crash the car. And Shedeur Sanders is damn good at not crashing a car. Now, I don't know how well he is at elevating players that are bad. But if you're asking a player to not crash the car and to manage the talent accordingly as a quarterback, to me, there's no better quarterback in the draft to do that. So when I hear people talking about Shedeur like this,
it was interesting Saturday. They had Shedeur on his field by himself.
Andrew and Kevin went over and watched him.
Yes, I think they were. Barry and Stefanski had to decide, do we give Shedeur more or less reps starting Monday? And I don't know what that answer would have been because he did pretty good Saturday with them watching him. And then the injury occurred, and that solved that. They're going to give him more reps. I think Gabriel and Sanders will get.
It's just hard to hear that you're telling me Shedeur Sanders is so bad, right? Because again, I just need y'all to see what at some point in time numbers matter, right? Because I don't give a damn if you're throwing to the 3s, the 4s, the 6s, the 7s, the 8s. You still have to complete what is complete. Now, again, you're going to see the Shedeur check downs. That's Shedeur's game. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way. That's fine. But you're also going to see the deep passes, the shots. He's going to take a shot when it's there. He's going to read it accordingly. He's going to push the ball down the field when it's available. But again, to tell me that this kid does not deserve some type of reps is crazy. 9 for 9 with 3 touchdowns. Now, I don't know if it was 7 on 7. I don't know if it's his team. I don't know. But again, it just feels like to me that he's being railroaded. Like, and I want to be listen, and anybody who knows, but if you're new and you're jumping on here because you just seen the title, whatever, anybody would tell you I'm probably one of the biggest Shedeur critics on the planet. But I'm telling you, how can an organization like the Cleveland Browns justify like Kenny Pickett isn't this all-world backup that we really got to keep to make sure we're good. That's not Kenny Pickett. He wouldn't be with the Browns if that was Kenny Pickett. He would still be with the Steelers. He would still be with the Steelers. Like, Dylan Gabriel is a drafted rookie. Shedeur Sanders is a drafted rookie. They should be able to all 3 of those guys. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Should all be in the same pot. They should all be in the same pot. Kenny Pickett is not this all-world talent that you're like, man, if Joe Flacco go down, we're good. Like you had with Jameis Winston, right? You had Deshaun Watson. You got Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is a quality backup. Quality backup. I have no issues with that. You want to go get a Teddy Bridgewater? I have no issues with that. A quality backup. High-level quality backup. Kenny Pickett is not that. And Steeler fans would tell you Kenny Pickett is not that. I'm confused. It feels like I'm missing something when I'm watching this go down. And I'm like, how in the blue hell is Shedeur Sanders not allowed to take first-team reps? And you act like Dylan Gabriel was a first-round draft pick. The Bama was a third-round pick. I'm not understanding it. It just does not make sense to me. And what's sad to say, and again, what I'm saying, for me to be saying this about Shedeur, and Sean knows, right? You see my boy Sean in the comments, Mr. Campbell. Anybody who watch my show know is like, damn, Scotty, Scotty really I really feel for Shedeur, because I feel like he has earned the opportunity to get first team reps because the 2 guys in front of him are not that good. If Kenny Pickett was all world, I would say, damn, Shedeur, you better figure it out. If Dylan Gabriel was a first round draft pick, I would be like, damn, Shedeur, you need to figure it out. Kenny Pickett is ass. That, you know how bad you got to be dropped by the Steelers to get picked up by the Browns? It's the Browns. Nobody deliberately goes to the Browns. You get what I'm saying? You think Deshaun Watson wanted to be a Brown? They paid that Bama $200 million guaranteed. It said, I'll be a Brown. You see what I'm saying? I don't understand it. I don't understand. You see what I'm saying? Like these are Steelers fans. Keep them Eagles, Steelers, whatever. He ain't even. Come on, man. Listen, man. I just feel that he is being railroaded, or at least used as a pawn for the attention that they're getting because he's on the team. And that's like he's being like the token black guy in a league. I hate to say that because, you know, the league is like 85% black. But for the Browns, he's their token black guy. We stretch Shedeur out there to throw, to do his, and I'm not saying Shedeur is doing any of this for like publicity or whatever. I genuinely think when I hear Shedeur talk, I genuinely think that he likes doing whatever he's doing in the community. Remember, I'm in Ohio. Okay, I'm 45 minutes outside of Cleveland. I'm going to a preseason game. I want to see him up close in person, right? So I believe there's a lot of things that Shedeur is doing that he just genuinely wants to do. But when you're Shedeur Sanders, when you genuinely do stuff, you bring attention. That just is what it is. And now they're just using him like a token black guy. Cleveland Browns, the owner, is getting massive money because 12 the jerseys are selling through the roof. But again, how he is being treated, you would think he was an absolute scrub. And I'm like, I missed the part where Kenny Pickett was this all-world athlete, an all-world quarterback. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Now, mind you, just think about this. He made $14 million because he has a equity. I think he has like an equity thing in his deal to where wherever he sells, he gets a commission off of it. Just imagine if he wasn't on the Browns, if he was with the Giants, if he was with the Jets, if he was with the Cowboys, if he was with the Steelers, if he was in any major market brand, Shedeur would not have to throw a goddamn football at all. He would literally make money off of just simply the jerseys. Absolutely crazy. Rocky, coming to you.
Hey, what's up, Scotty, man?
What's goody?
Hey, I couldn't agree with you more about what's happening to Shedeur, but I don't understand the motivation behind it, really. Meaning that it doesn't make football sense on one hand, but it don't even make business sense. You know what I mean? Like from a PR and business standpoint, if Shedeur is your week one starter, what does that do for ratings? What does that do for the Browns brand? You don't understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't. You know what that does. They become all of a sudden.
I have to push back on it because I'm not going to make you a week one starter just because of the publicity behind you.
No. I'm not saying that, but if he was though, I'm not saying make him week one starter because of it makes business sense, but I'm saying them not making it a competition undermines the business of it. You understand what I'm saying? If he is the best quarterback, you know, we all know the football reasons behind why he should be playing. But even for no other reason than he should be almost given a fair shake just because of how popular he is what I'm saying. Like, his level of popularity means that if he is who the people believe he is, he should be the quarterback because it's good businesses. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand it, but in the realm of NFL, the part where I have to stop it at is I think where it's good businesses is I'm figuring out how to get you team reps, even if it's to the detriment of something. You get what I'm saying? Like, I need a storyline of you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting you're going to get a storyline of Shedeur getting first team reps. I don't give a damn if it's 3, 5, 7, whatever it is. Because again, it keeps the interest in there. Now, I would look at it like this. I would let him self-implode. If I feel that if I know Shedeur is developmental, I'm going to give you first team reps to implode yourself because why? That proves my point. If Shedeur goes out and throws 3 picks, 1 touchdown, they be like, damn, like he really not.
But if you don't know, Scotty, if you truly, as a franchise, don't know whether he's that guy or not, and there is a possibility he may be that guy, and you compare him against the guy you drafted 2 rounds before him, apples to apples.
Somebody getting fired. Somebody getting fired. Somebody getting fired.
Also, it unravels the notion that the NFL is not biased in their evaluation of players. You understand what I'm saying? Like everybody and their mama thought Shedeur was a first round draft pick, if not for no other reason than he was a top level quarterback for that particular year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could argue whether he was second round talent or whatever, second round ability, but it's really a matter of who you get drafted against. You know what I mean? And based on the guys that he was going against, Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, he wasn't that far from those guys. Right?
Hold on. If we're talking about traits, yes, he was. I don't think his traits.
I'm talking about production, bro. If you die Shedeur White with the same production and ability, he's the number 1 pick overall.
No, he's not.
No, he's
not. No, he's not. I'll give you. He goes in front of Jackson Dart. I'll give you that. If you die on White, he goes in front of Jackson Dart. I give you that. You know what I'm saying? I do agree with you on that one. But I don't think anybody was better than Cam Ward this year. Flat out. I don't. Yes,
no. I agree with. I agree
if you die on White,
with that
was funny.
But my point, and here's the crazy thing. My point is, and I say simply you die on White because not because it was necessarily a racist thing, but he's completely unattached from his father at that point. You know what I mean? If he's white, his dad cannot be Deion Sanders. He can't have the swag. He can't be doing the white stuff. He don't have the twist. You understand what I'm saying?
I get you.
Everything that he means to the culture, he doesn't have that. And I think that's part of it, was part of the reason why he was devalued to some degree.
Well,
now,
in the devaluing, I look at it like this. When you're trying, I feel like it's this. I feel like you're trying to Okay, Rocky, stay with me real quick, right? If you had a son, well, you have sons, but if your son was you have a son. So if you own businesses, let's say you own let's say you own an enterprise, right? You own an enterprise, it's a major business. You're the guy, or a car dealership. Let's say that you own a car dealership, and your whole life you've been setting your son up to be the finance manager at this car dealership, right? You just been sending them to school, doing this, doing that, doing this. And then people will be like, dang, bro, like, you're not your dad because your dad owns it. Your dad's the man. He got 2-3 car dealerships. You were just given all of this and set a pathway to become a finance manager. Doesn't mean you're the best finance manager. Doesn't mean you're the best of what it is. And you couldn't have done, we don't know if you could have done it on your own, but you made it. I think the difference is when people see that type and it's braggadocious and it's loud and it's jewelry and it's talking, it's like, I don't really know if you're that guy.
Well, let me say this, Scotty, because I think context matters. So yes, if I own a car lot and my son is the heir apparent, right? And he goes to community college and gets a 2-year degree, and then I install him as the finance manager. Yes, there's some. I think everybody should have questions about that with no previous experience. But if he goes to Yale and get a business degree, and then go to Harvard and get an MBA, then does an internship with GM, you understand what I'm saying? Then comes over and becomes the finance manager. Then isn't it a little more palatable for him to be installed as the finance manager with those kind of
but
accolades?
That Shedeur doesn't have that resume though, for being honest. Like that, you don't think okay.
No. You don't think spending being the rookie of the year, being the freshman of the year, in FCS football, being the league MVP, being the highest rated quarterback, the highest completion percentage
No.
in college football history.
No.
Come on now, Scotty. Come on.
I'm
what
so
are you
serious.
doing, Scotty?
I'm so serious. Like, no, because to me, like when I break it all down, at the end of the day, it's like this is what you're telling me. I just want to understand what you're telling me. It's like you went to Yale for 4 years and you didn't get a degree. Because what did you win? What did you accomplish? Like literally outside of no.
Okay,
No. Winning matters. Winning matters. Winning matters. Now, I'll give you the undefeated seasons in FCS. I'll give you all that. You never won a celebration bowl.
Cam Ward win?
He won bowl games.
Cam Ward?
He won bowl games. And Cam Ward had a harder track. He threw for more yards in FCS. No. Let's break this down. You want to talk? Let's talk. He played harder competition. He threw for more yards, more touchdowns, went to Washington State, turned them around, and then went. So everywhere.
We're using the term "turn them around" real loosely, but okay.
He didn't turn Washington State around. He didn't make them. He didn't make them bowl eligible first year he went.
I think they went. He. Let me look at the schedule. I think he had one losing season and one season where they were 6-5. I mean, what
is that not bowl eligible? And then took Miami and made them bowl eligible. Did they not?
Well, he played more years in school than Shedeur, so there is that. You know what I mean? I don't know what Shedeur could do with a 5th year in college. Who knows? When
you with your dad. When you with your dad the whole time,
okay.
What do you mean?
Let's get that. So therein lies where I say the situation is kind of jaded, right? Is that people have skepticism about his accomplishments, and I've said this before on Coach's Corner and in Calling You. They put questions around all his accomplishments and all of his accolades because they feel they were somehow orchestrated by his dad, right? But it couldn't have been orchestrated if he wasn't a good player. That's what I'm saying. Like
nobody's saying he's not a good player. I'm just saying he's not to the level of what you guys are trying to take him to. Like you're trying to make him something that he is not. That's why I said he was never a first-round pick.
Got drafted in the first round.
He was never a first-round pick. Johnny Manziel was better than Shedeur Sanders in college. You can't deny that.
Kenny Pickett got drafted in the first round. Come on, Scotty. What are we talking about?
I
can name all the dumpster.
There are busts there are busts
in the first round.
Listen, if you're trying to make your argument on bust in the first round, there's plenty of arguments there, like of quarterbacks that went before this guy or Trubisky hold on. Or Mitchell Trubisky getting drafted over Deshaun Watson, or Mitchell Trubisky getting drafted over Patrick Mahomes. There's a lay of the land of examples. But if we're comparing Cam Ward's track, because this is the shit that kills me. People are jumping in my comments talking about Shedeur had no O-line, he had no running game. That's not Cam Ward's fault. Your daddy ran the fucking team. What are you talking about? If your daddy knew what he was doing, he would have recruited you an offensive line. He would have tried to run the ball. So excuse the hell out of me that your dad is the damn head coach. You're the starting quarterback, and he doesn't think you need an offensive line? What sense does that make? So that's a horrible argument in itself. But Cam Ward, time and time again, had to go with different places and make it happen.
Cam Ward was better, Scotty. I say he's a better quarterback and he has better traits. I'm not comparing him to Cam Ward. What I'm saying is his accolades are on the same level as Cam Ward.
I disagree.
On the same level.
I disagree.
I'm not saying he's better.
I disagree.
And I'm simply saying, and you agree about 10 minutes earlier, that if you dime white,
I think he goes in front of Jackson Dark. Yeah, I agree with you.
And you give his last name Swartz instead of Sanders, he gets drafted. You know, and that's all I'm saying, bro. And this particular and in this situation, right, that he's put in, I think the unwavering, unshaking confidence that he has in himself in the long term is going to bode him really well. At the end of the day, no matter what limited opportunity he's given,
Let me
no
ask you
matter
this. Let
what
me ask you this,
situation he
Rocky.
puts in, I think he believes he can overcome.
Let
it.
me ask
Go
you
ahead.
this. Let me ask you this. If Shedeur had a 5th year, right? I want to keep this hypothetical because people are pissing me off in my comments talking about his dad didn't know how to evaluate O-line. So my issue is, if you feel like your dad doesn't know how to evaluate O-line, why not transfer to a school that has an O-line?
Wait, come on.
I'm asking, because no, think about it, Rocky. If
No,
I'm
man, you don't.
no,
you don't
no,
do that.
no, think about it. If you're telling, because you can't, if I know, okay, let me ask you, if my girl cheats and I keep taking her back, can I get mad that she's a cheater? No, because I'm accepting
you
of
can't.
it. I'm accepting of it. So to me
But you chose your girl. You didn't choose your dad, though.
dog, you can always leave. That is not he could have always he was not tied to the hip to his dad. He could have transferred. Just like he transferred in, he could have transferred out.
But the ramifications of that stem far beyond football. Like, hey, Scotty, if you're the coach of a high school team and you need a quarterback, and Shy decides to go to the rival school, I don't give a damn. That's gonna cause some problems, my bro. That's gonna cause some problems.
It's not the he dropped off. Call back in, Rocky. My thing is this: you guys cannot use you can't keep saying his dad didn't know how to evaluate talent. And this really, the conversation really is not a Colorado conversation. It's really a Cleveland Brown conversation. But if we want to take it there, we'll take it there. You can't keep telling me, you can't keep giving him excuse he had no O-line. And for 4 years, his dad could not get the offensive line right. That means you're okay with it. You have been okay with it. 6198 coming to you, then Rocky, I'll come back to you. What's up?
What's up, Scotty?
What's up?
So I hear you. Now, when are we going to include, as far as he for one, his dad put him in, can we say his dad not put him in the best situation possible?
Yeah, because it's Deion Sanders, so he's going to recruit talent. That's what you want. You're going to get talent
100%.
because it's Deion Sanders. But again, it's like this. The gifts, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. If your dad is a mafia boss, right? Listen, if your dad's a mafia boss, there's benefits to being with him. Nobody gonna mess with you. You're gonna have money. You're gonna be able to go to certain places. But then on the backside, you're always going to be looked at as if you're doing something in trouble. There's a backside to it. So you got to take the downside with having a benefit of a mafia dad. It's the same thing with Deion Sanders. The benefit was all the talent he was able to bring in, all the receivers, the DBs, the attention. But the bad side is you could never have an O-line and you never ran the ball well. The last time you did that was at Jackson State year 2, but go ahead.
True. No, I agree 100%. And plus, I mean, the boy, he did get offers from other places, so I agree with you. Now, my question would be: is third round? I think third round is fair, but my issue is the situation of him. The 5th it doesn't make sense to anybody. And I'm just now hopping on. I'm not sure what your thoughts was on that, but the 5th didn't make sense compared to others that went ahead of him. Jalen Milroe, Dylan, okay, but Jalen, that's the one, and Tyler, those didn't make sense to me because they weren't consistent as far as play goes itself.
Well, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. What's tough about it is if you got to account for, how do I explain this? You got to account for the competition, right? Because for Jalen Milroe's career, he's only played against SEC talent. And you've seen a great Jalen Milroe and you've seen a really bad Jalen Milroe. So then so now what evaluators are doing, are they're going to say, okay, so he did really well when he had Nick Saban and he had this running back and he had these wide receivers, and he didn't do so well when the new staff came in with Alabama, but he's still a talented individual, ran crazy on LSU, did this, did that. So it starts kind of weighing. So now you start seeing is like, okay, now not only can I play him at quarterback, I can probably play him at receiver. I could probably make him a running back. He then becomes attractive just based off his skill set, right? His skill set, his speed, running a 4.4 as a quarterback is going to make you appealing just off of your skills. Now, how they decide to use them, they could use them like Lamar Jackson did year one with the Baltimore Ravens, where they just put them in packages in the Wildcat and just use them in the goal line, use them on 3rd and 1, use them on 4th and 1. And hey, we do power run and all this type of stuff, right? So again, I just think that in certain instances, yes, body of work matters, but competition also matters as well in how well you played against that high level, because everybody says SEC, Big Ten, and everybody else. And if you're at the top of if you're playing against the top of the food chain and you're doing pretty well, because he did do well one year, and then the other year he didn't do so well. So you can't, it can't be so bad. You get what I'm saying? You got to kind of balance that out.
I get it. And I'm with you. But that first year, I mean, what Deion did, I mean, he went against the Oregons. He went against the
and lost
again. See, again, but all right. But we talk about production, right? His son did produce in those games. Now the other factor, right? I get it, but the production was still there in those big games. Yes, it was a loss, 100%. But
I think the only real production
in the
was
TCU game too,
the
as
US,
well.
the US,
again, they weren't a chance, but still.
The TCU game. Okay, we have to. Okay, this is the thing with college football. You can't make two of the same arguments, right? Because people are like, TCU was a great win, and then at the end of the day, you look at what TCU landed, and you're like, damn, TCU was ass, right? You just saw them first, and you got it first, and that's why you went on that. You went on like a 3-game win streak, and then you just lost the rest of them. My thing is, the only game he really produced in was the USC game. He balled out. The Arizona State game, he balled out, but against Colorado State, he struggled in the beginning. He still pulled it out, but he struggled. He struggled in the Baylor game, but he pulls it out. Like, you gotta, it's one of those things to where it's like, hey, he struggled in the Nebraska game, and Nebraska was like the worst team in the Big Ten. So that, and they got dominated. Like, nobody wants to talk about those games. Everybody wants to talk about all the easy games that they glided through. But if you put Colorado in the Big Ten, they're probably the 6th or 7th team, and we're not even talking about them right now. They get mollywopped. So again, this wasn't supposed to be a Colorado conversation, but at the end of the day, you're good. You're straight. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is Shedeur Sanders is, to me, he was never a first-round pick. Now, again, you can't take supply and demand and mix it in with how you feel, right? Because a person might say, you know what? We like Shedeur enough. We think he's a 2nd-round pick. We'll get him in the late 1st, and we'll have that extra 5th-year option. You see what I'm saying? To where if he does pan out, we got that extra 5th year to see what it works. So I can't. But for me personally, I've always felt Shedeur was a 2nd or 3rd-round pick. 5th surprised me. I was flabbergasted to see him go in the 5th.
You'd have been rich.
I would have. Man, listen. But do I think Dylan Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur? Like, head and shoulders? No. Do I think there's things that Dylan Gabriel does well that Shedeur doesn't? Yes. Like, he's very, very mobile. You know, he has a lively arm for a short guy. But I think there's things that Shedeur does really well. He's very accurate, has great touch down the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, it processes really, really well, really fast, right? But again, it's all about preference of what you like and what you want to go forward to. So for me, the issue that I had with Shedeur at Colorado was I just wanted to see. I would have loved to seen a round 2 in the Pac-12 with everybody, or in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Texas. That would have kind of solidified for me, like, okay, if you're top 4 or top 3 and you either split with Oklahoma or Texas, that's not that bad. But when you were in the Pac-12 and you had to deal with all the talented quarterbacks, you lost.
Right. And this is my last question. Even back on Cleveland standpoint, because I watched the same interview you watched. I mean, they said this is going to be a fair competition, and clearly
it is not.
It's just
been.
not. And that's the biggest thing. Now, again, if you did this person each get first team, okay, cool, and Dylan's right out. The biggest thing, we just want to see it. If it's going to be fair, let's call it that, right? But let's not just call what we're doing right now at this point in time. But again, Cleveland. I'm 37. I ain't never seen Cleveland be successful ever. So it is what it is.
Hey man,
But I appreciate the call.
No, appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. So getting back to Cleveland, because we could get on Colorado. You can call in about Colorado. I have no problems talking about it. But my issue is okay. Let me say this to Zoe. If everything is even and you send Cam Ward to the Titans and you start Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward has a better career as a Tennessee Titan than Shedeur has as a Cleveland Brown. I do not care, because at that point we're not talking about talent, we're talking about franchises and what a franchise would choose to do. And I think a Tennessee Titans franchise is ran way better than a Cleveland Brown organization. So that's organizational. Now, if you took Shedeur and put him on the Steelers, then yes, I believe he will have a better career than Cam Ward. You took him off there and put him on the Cowboys. Yes, I do agree with that. You take him off there and put him with the Raiders. No, I disagree. I think Tennessee will have a better. To me, for Shedeur, is organizational. I think Cam Ward is just completely talent. I think he's a talented guy to get it done. Do I think he's a Cam Newton? Do I think he's a Joe Burrow? I don't think he's to that level, but I do think his mentality and his talent will transform the Tennessee Titans. It's going to be rough, but I do think he is a better situation. Now, listen, let me say this. When I say the Cowboys, I don't mean like Super Bowl champions like year one with Shedeur Sanders. I think if you take Dak Prescott and you put Shedeur Sanders on the same team right here, right now, I think they go first or second round playoffs. I think they'll go first, second round playoffs with Dak. I think they'll go first, second round playoffs with Shedeur. I don't think there's any drop off, right? I think where I'll tell you where I think there would have been a difference. The Green Bay game, I'm sorry, I know I'm jumping all around, where Shedeur and Dak would have differed, in my personal opinion, is in the home Green Bay game. Now, people are going to say, Scotty, was defense. They suck too. But I do believe that Shedeur would have kept us in the game offensively and would have drove down the field to make it like a 7-7, 14-7. 17-21. I think it would have been more of a shootout, and we probably would have lost it maybe because the defense really didn't come to play. But I think it would have been a better game than what was shown. I really believe. I think that's just me personally. I'm gonna always stand on that. But I think organizational wise is where Shedeur is that's the best. A great organization for Shedeur is going to give him a great career. I don't think you couldn't have done. He's not Cam Newton. You can't take him, put him on the Carolina Panthers, and they make him relevant. I do not believe that. If you take the Cam Newton 15-1 team and you put Shedeur Sanders on there, they're like 9-7, 8-8, 9-7. They're like that, right? Like he's not that guy. That's what I'm trying to say. I think he's a quality quarterback. I think he's a Dak Prescott of just game manager. And then as he gets more seasoned in the league, I think he can take his game to the next level. But overall, I'm going to get to this. I really hate these narratives that have been being pushed out. I hope he does get traded. I think trading Shedeur will probably be the best thing in his career, honestly, and going to a reputable team and a great organization. Now, last thing before I get up out of here. Landing spots. If he gets traded, if Shedeur Sanders gets traded, these are the best spots for him, in my personal opinion. I think he can beat out every second quarterback on this list. So people say I hate Shedeur. I don't hate Shedeur. I just think that people overrate him, but I do think he's a great quality quarterback, right? I think if he got with Tampa and he got to sit behind Baker Mayfield for 2 or 3 years and then got the starting job, I think that would be absolutely great. Perfect. Same thing with the Steelers. I think if he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a year, I think that would be amazing. I think the Steelers are a great organization, defense first. You don't ask Shedeur to do too much in those first couple years. He thrives. The Eagles. Shout out to Mr. Campbell. He threw me this one yesterday. I think this will be absolutely amazing. Look at these backups: Kyle McCord, Tanner McKee. Shedeur could absolutely. And what happens here is there is no conspiracy. The reason I like all these places is that there's no conspiracy of, oh my God, when is Shedeur going to start? There's none of that talk. He goes to the Eagles. There's none of that talk. He goes to the Steelers. There's none of that talk. Maybe a little bit of it. In Tampa, there's none of that talk. It's Baker Mayfield's team. To Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, that could go a little iffy if he plays really bad throughout the season. He's only a one-year rental. I could see them replacing him and just going ahead with Shedeur. I could see that happening. But the Eagles in Tampa, I think there is absolutely no talk about him trying to start or getting first-team reps. He's there to learn, wait his turn, and then place. So that's my thing. Shout out to DTS Bub. He said Baker. I'm not, and I listen. Baker's not going anywhere, and I don't want him to go anywhere. I think these are great places for Shedeur to sit behind. I'm not saying Shedeur is a day one starter. I'm not saying that. I think at the Browns he could. It's the Browns, right? But if you're talking about a really good organization, I think Shedeur should sit 1 or 2 years and wait his turn and step into that role and then go kill it. I don't know why people think that he can't be a Jordan Love. What's wrong with being a Jordan Love? What's wrong with being Aaron Rodgers when he was behind Brett Favre? What's wrong with being Patrick Mahomes when he was behind Alex Smith? What's wrong with being Dak Prescott because he was supposed to be behind Tony Romo, right? Like, these are all things that happen. Eagles, when they had Donovan McNabb, they went and got Michael Vick, right? Like, you need a quality backup that can come in and be a starter, and I think that's a good position for Shedeur to be in. You sit behind a Baker Mayfield. You sit behind a Jalen Hurts. You sit behind the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, and you learn, you grasp, you get comfortable, and then you step into it, and then you take off, right? And I think that's where it's at. I think that's where it's at right now. So my final thing to this is I do believe that the Browns are playing games with Shedeur. I do believe they're railroading him. I do believe they're using him as a token celebrity. I won't say a token black guy, a token celebrity where they push their brand and people are actually talking about the Cleveland Browns when nobody gives a damn, right? I'm in Cleveland. I'm in Ohio and nobody gives a damn. But now they do because Shedeur is there, right? So at the end of the day, what I feel that should be transpiring and going on is that Shedeur, I don't know if he has an agent, but he needs to get an agent and get one fast and figure out how to get the hell out of Cleveland and get traded, get cut, and go to an organization where he can really have a time and really put in the work to be a backup, a second round. I mean, a second on the second depth chart as a backup, because again, I think what's being done at Cleveland is a travesty, because you cannot tell me that anybody other than Joe Flacco is just head and shoulders above everybody else. You just can't tell me that. I don't believe it. I don't care. I really don't care. You just can't make me believe that. As much as I'm a critic of Shedeur, I'm not opposed to seeing his talents. And I'm just saying, if I valued him as a second or third round pick, there's no way that Dylan Gabriel is just head and shoulders. Listen. What they say, you are what your record says you are. You are what you said where you're drafted at. But again, there has been numerous 6th and 7th round picks there's been numerous of undrafted players that have made Pro Bowls and made Super Bowls. And Tony Romo, undrafted quarterback out of Western Illinois, became a franchise and one of the all-time passing leaders in the Dallas Cowboy history, right? So again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I do think that the NFL does not have a complete science on evaluating players and their talents in the draft. It just is what it is, right? Kurt Warner, right? But again, to play it all even and to keep a fair thing. The only way that Shedeur knocks any of this talk, preseason. Preseason. He has to kill preseason. He has to murder the preseason. What are the rumors? Leave no doubt. Coach Boone. Leave no doubt. Hey, if you're a Shedeur fan, that's what you got to be telling him. Leave no doubt. When he steps out on that field for the preseason, he has to leave no doubt. It can't be, maybe he's he hasn't got first team. He has to be ready because they don't need much to cut a 5th round pick. I'm going to say that again. They don't need much to cut a 5th round pick. So when he steps out on that field for the preseason, he better be the best damn player out there. And you got to see it. You got to see it. Listen, guys, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it honest. Let's keep it funky. Let's keep it open and honest, right? There's too many times we've seen first rounders jack up preseason. We've seen second rounders jack up preseason. We see third rounders jack up preseason. And they get chance after chance after chance after chance. That's because of where they're drafted. That's because the money that is invested in them. They're going to get chance after chance after chance after chance, right? So I'm not saying anything to Shedeur that another 5th or 6th or former 7th round pick would not tell Shedeur to say, hey, man, listen, I know what your name is. All right. They will cut you. You don't cost that much. So you got to go out and perform, and you got to show up. You got to make it hard for them to cut you. You have to make it to where all they're talking about on ESPN is Shedeur went 12 of 15 with 3 touchdowns and 190 yards. Like, it's just like, how could he not be getting first team reps? Like, he has to be the A block on first take. When he plays preseason games, he has to be the A block on first take. Right behind the Cowboys. Because, nothing comes before the Cowboys. But that's just my little 2 cents, man. Listen, at the end of the day, he was ass at Colorado, and I'm standing on that. Bump all y'all. Don't give a damn. That's why they ain't win nothing, right? Somebody said winning matters. Well, he didn't win shit at Colorado. Got them empty calorie stats, 12 and 13. If we want to talk some shit, I got some for you. Okay? Because all he was doing in bowl games was...
I hear everybody talking about what they gonna be. I got high hopes for you niggas. We gonna see. Goddamn.
Very simple. Okay? Very, very, very simple. So, listen, but at the end of the day...
But people just don't talk about it. This is the problem. I could say stuff. Coach George could say stuff. Coach Hugh Jackson could say stuff. But some guys that don't have that, they can't elaborate and talk about the dysfunction that they're dealing with because they're subject to be fired. When we do it, you may not like it, but I'm not lying.
You ain't lying.
So,
but when I do it, I ain't lying. All right, listen, that's my time, guys. Listen, tonight, 9 o'clock, Outspoken, we breaking down. If you're not an HBC, you got to understand, but you can come back and always kick it with us. Listen, we talking about SWAC records. We're going through all the SWAC East, SWAC West, and making predictions, all right? Listen, until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless.